Hi, we are, as I've promised, I'm back in lecture, I believe 26. Yeah, 26. Once again, we are in the middle of the 8th week, turning the half point. And today, we are going to talk about the breach of the contract, which means somebody break the promise. Well, I kept talking about they should be punished and the original promise should be enforced. And I'm warning you for the little naive minded people. Uh, this may be a little bit shocking new message. We are going to talk it later. But let me ask you honestly, did your mom ever tell you you should keep the promise with your friends all the time? Or my mom said that. Yeah, my mom said you should keep the promise. Otherwise, it's not a promise. I mean, you keep a promise. You said that, oh, let's meet this weekend, Sunday, and have lunch. But then you find out a very good job. In my days, there's no mobile phone, no phone. So either I go to this very profitable job which came out of sudden, or because of the promise with my friend, I gave that up and go and meet my friends, even though I cannot make that much money. Or I meet a beautiful girl and can have a date, but then I already have promise with my high school friend or something. So I said, sorry, lady, I have promise. I'm very sorry, but I have to go with him, something like that. Once that happened to me. Anyway, so, keeping the promise is important thing. Today, I'm going to teach you, you should never, it's not like you may not keep the promise. Sometimes it's bad for you to keep the promise. There are times you got to break the promise. Okay, why is that important? The contract law says the government should enforce the original promise, original contract, if the contract was signed voluntarily at the time by everybody involved. Okay? What do you mean by enforce? I mean, you should make them keep the promise whatsoever. For example, when two men and woman, they want to get divorced, the government say, come on, 20 years ago, Harry and Sally, you told me that you are going to be together forever until your death. That was marriage contract. Now you want to break it? I'm sorry. In the spirit of contract law, I can never allow you to get divorced because you signed it. Is that correct attitude? Is that what the contract law should do? So what do you mean by enforcing? Okay, we are going back. It's not the same thing. The enterprise by two friends, Tom, who's rich, Sam, who has ability but do not have money. We know that Sam may run away. That prevent Tom from investing in Sam's business. However, because of the government guarantee that Sam would never run away, if he run away, we are going to catch him and blah, blah, blah. Tom trusts the government. Sam commit himself effectively. Once again, commitment means Sam effectively convincing Tom this promise would never be broken by me because I'll go to jail. Something like that. Having said that, send Sam to jail. Is that correct? Right thing to do? That is what we want to ask today. It seems right thing to do if Sam run away. Oh, bad Sam, you did something really wrong. You should not do that. So, even economists wouldn't have much problem putting Sam in jail in case he run away. Just want to take the money away from Tom. Okay? Oh, before that, okay, let me see. Oh, okay. That was, I should have begun from here. Sam is not actually a bad person. He wants to keep the promise. And, okay, I said 10, but it's 8, 12. Okay, Sam will make 12. It's a typo. And he will get 12 to Tom and keep himself 8. That is Sam's plan. He's an honest guy. Then, the company Google called Sam because his ability technique is so unique. Google said, instead of working in a small business in Sinchon area, small area in Seoul, you should come to America and do the business against the whole world. Then, Google, I will pay Sam 40. Wow. Should Sam go? Mom was wrong, as I said. He usually say a good person should keep the promise all the time, even though it is tempted to break it. Mom, I'm sorry, but you are not correct. After learning economics, I realized sometimes we have to break the promise, like when Google called Sam. Okay? Why? From economic point of view, when Tom and Sam work together, they create the value of 20 from 30. So it's gonna be 12 plus 8, 20. From the money, 30. So when Tom and Sam work together, they basically make the money 30 after some period into 50. Nice job. But the question is, Sam, if you are so able, why you begin with the money investment $30? Probably the Google will invest 3,000 for you, and you can make much more money. And that is the job only Sam can do in the whole world. And as expected, Google offers Sam, we are going to pay you 40, so work for us. So, if Sam break the promise, who made this promise without knowing that Google would be interested, but Sam made a promise and will make 20. However, if we break this promise and work with Google, Sam can make at least 40 because otherwise Google will never pay him 40. So, are you gonna stick with the 20 or are you gonna make 40? This is different story. If Sam run away, he does not work at all. He does not create any value. He just take the $30 from Tom, so the sum of Tom and Sam would be 0. Sum of Tom and Sam, when Sam work, 20 is bigger than 0. That's why economists should think Sam should work. However, we have another possibility. Sam work With Tom, Sam worked with Google. That case, at least 40 or more would be created by Sam. Should Sam stick with $20 value creation or 40 or more? No need to ask economists. The economists say, say sorry to your mom. Mom, you are wrong. Sam should get for 40. Think about that. I mean, one of your student, like Mr. Kim in my class, Law and Economics, and he studied very hard, and then he passed the exam to enter the graduate school of economics, doing his PhD in Yonsei University. Then he got a call from Harvard, and they say, "Oh, Mr. Kim, you're so great. You're so smart. We want to have you as a professor at Harvard." How many of you really think, "Oh, Mr. Kim, you promised to be at the graduate school of Yonsei University, and you promised to be the TA of Professor Han doing this law and economics, and now you got an offer from Harvard and you quit? You're a betrayer. You shouldn't do that." Can you say that? Well, I would be inconvenient to losing a TA over Harvard, but I would be so happy. "Oh, Mr. Kim, go to Harvard and be a professor at Harvard. Don't worry about the TA job at Yonsei University. TA Yonsei, professor Harvard, how can you compare?" Something like that. So, even though you promised me to enter Yonsei University and my TA, even I will ask you to leave, break the promise, things like that. What I mean is, not because of Sam is a bad person, but sometimes things change, and a much, much, much better opportunity than the original contract may come to you. And if you refuse that new opportunity because of this stupid dogma that I have to keep whatever promise I make, would be inefficient. So, how can we effectively prevent Sam to run away with Tom's money? That's the spirit of commitment and contract law. At the same time, we should let Sam to break this promise and leave when something like Google comes up. And as everybody knows, the answer is giving him proper level of penalty. We'll call it X. So basically, the government should enforce Tom and Sam's contract. But it should not say, "Sam, you should never, ever break the promise." Instead, what government should do is, "Sam, if you want, you can leave. You can break the promise. But you have to pay X to Tom. This X is you return the investment 30 to Tom, and in addition to 30, you pay him X back to Tom as a penalty." So, in this lecture, the question is, what is the proper number X in this case? In this example, that is the question we are going to ask. Naturally, you should expect at this point there would be some calculation in this class. But if you graduate elementary school, you will understand. Here, we are gonna talk about individual incentive, what is good for individual, and the next page, what is good for the society. First, the individual. When one should predict, will this contract performed or breached? Keep the promise or break the promise? Once again, that depends on the penalty X. Would be totally decided by this formula. Sam's cost of performing the contract. Sam think about, if I keep the promise, what would be my benefit? What would be my loss? Sam thinking about, the liability for breaching. If I break the promise, what should I be responsible? So Sam should, because in this game, it is not Tom, only Sam can keep the promise or break it. So we are focusing on Sam. So Sam would compare, what if I keep the promise? What if I run away and break the promise? And of course, if running away is better, he will run away. If working, keeping the promise is better, he will keep the promise. That's what this means. Sam's cost of performing, Sam's liability, which means Sam's cost of breaching. So how bad it is to keep the promise, how bad it is to break the promise. If keeping the promise, the cost is high, then breaking the promise, of course, it will break. Because this is bad thing, this is bad thing. The bad thing is more severe when it's performing than breaching, so you breach. From our example, the Google's offer is 40, and if Sam keep the promise and work, it's -8. So if Sam keep the promise with Tom, he will lose the Google's offer 40, that is cost. But that would be canceled a little bit because he will get paid 8 from working with Tom. So by keeping the promise with Tom, Sam's loss would be 32. The 40 loss from Google's offer, but gaining 8 by keeping the promise with Tom. Okay? If you think a little bit, you will understand. What if Sam breaking the promise? Then he should pay the penalty. That's X. So basically, Sam should compare this and that. If government put Sam into jail or death penalty, the X would be extremely high. So Sam will not breach. If X, this right-hand side is high, that is Sam's cost performing is small than Sam's liability for breaching, the breaking the promise, the cost is higher than keeping the promise, then it will keeping the promise, perform the contract. So whether Sam will break the promise or keep the promise, depends on X. To be exact, if X is smaller than 32, Sam will break. If X is bigger than 32, Sam will perform and keep the promise with Tom. Okay? Very natural. I mean, wouldn't you do that? I mean, if the government will put you in jail and make you pay $100 when you break the promise, you will never break the promise. I'm sorry, Google, 40 is not enough. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to pay $100 by getting 40, so I'll perform. But if the government say, come on, just pay $10 penalty. Oh, I can. 10 is smaller than 32, so I will break the promise with Tom. Sorry, Tom. And Sam will go and work with Google. Social efficiency. This time, what should be happening? Here, Sam's cost is same. Sam's cost of performing against Tom's benefit from performing. Okay, so here, individually, Sam never worries about Tom. So it was Sam's loss from performing in the previous individual incentive. Now, as a socially, we should compare what Sam earns by doing the contract, what Tom's gain from doing the contract. Here, if Sam, once again, perform the contract, he will lose $40. But because he gained $8 by performing the contract with Tom, they share 8 to 12. So Sam will gain 32. By performing the contract, Tom will gain 12. Which 12? This 12. So if the contract is kept, then Tom will get 12. But Sam will lose 32. Okay? Should it be done socially? No. You are sacrificing 32 for 12. I mean, we have no reason to think Tom is more important to Sam. So, sorry, Tom, you are gaining only 12. If the government forced Sam to perform the contract, on the other hand, Sam will lose 32. So 32 is bigger than 12. So Tom, I'm sorry, but the government will let Sam to break the contract. If it is the other way, if Google offers Sam, let's say 15, then by performing the contract, Sam would lose 15 minus 8 because he will gain 8 by doing Tom. So performing it, Sam gains 8, losing 15, so it's 7. In that case, we go to the second case. Sam's cost is only 7, 15 minus 8. If Google offers only 15 instead of the 40, Tom gains 12. Sorry, Sam, by breaking the contract, you gains only 7, but Tom would lose 12. He might have gotten. So, as a government, we cannot let you do that. So you should stick to the original promise. That's the message. So once again, this is what Sam will do. The formula to predict Sam. This is what is good for the society. So this is condition to breach. This is condition to perform what we want. And this is condition to breach. This is what Sam will do. So what is ideal for the society? When this Sam will break the contract, this should be same as socially optimal thing. Because the left-hand side is same in both pages. Sam's cost of performing, Sam's cost of performing. The right-hand side, Tom's benefit from performing, Sam's liability for breaching, if they are same, like this. Liability for breaching, for Sam, Tom's benefit from performing, if they are the same thing, we are going to get the social optimal. Sam, in the other one, Sam will behave exactly as economists and as the society want him to do. Okay, I forgot Sam. Sam's liability for breaching, Tom's benefit from performing. How can we do that? How can we do that? 40 minus 8 should be bigger than 12. 40 minus 8, if it's bigger than x, it will breach. Very simple. If you set x as 12, the two equation would become same. Okay? In other words, this 12, what Tom will get if Sam performed the original contract. So Tom expected 12. If I invest 30, Sam promised me 12. So if Sam says, I'm sorry, Tom, I have to break the promise. Something good opportunity came to me. I'll return your 30 and the 12 I promised you, I'll give it to you. Why? I'm getting 40 from Google. After giving you 12, I am getting how much? 28, which is bigger than 8 if I keep the promise. Okay? So Sam will do exactly what society wants him to do. If the Google offers him 15, then Sam would think, I return 30 and give Tom 12 out of 15 I'm getting, I get only 3. But if I work with Tom, I get 8. So instead of leaving Tom for Google and get only 3, 15 minus 12, I would rather get 8 by working with Tom. That is socially efficient because Google's creation is only 15. Here, if Sam works with Tom, 12 plus 8, he can create 20. So 20 is bigger than 15. That's why Sam should not break the promise. The economic, okay, a little bit confusing, but if you think it over watching this lecture again, even though it's confusing a little bit, I'm sorry on that. I'm sure that you are smart enough, very smart people, only smart people was chosen for Yonsei, so you would understand. Perfect expectation damage, that's the word. What is perfect expectation damage? That is what is the ideal X. X should be perfect expectation damage. Then Sam will do exactly as the society wants. What is perfect expectation damage? Restores the promisee here, Tom. Okay, promiser is Sam. Sam promised Tom 12 actively. Tom said, okay, oh, Sam, you offer me? I receive it. That is promisee. So Tom was promised 12. So if the penalty is perfect expectation damage, that would restore the Tom to the position that he would have enjoyed. So if Sam keep the promise, Tom would have gotten how much? 12. If the promise had kept. So Tom would have gotten 12 if Sam kept the promise and work. If Sam want to quit the contract and break the contract, the penalty for Sam should be perfect expectation damage, which is the 12 that was promised to Tom. If X is 12 in our example, then Sam would quit the contract with Tom only if the new opportunity from Google is bigger than 20 that Sam would have created with Tom. Because 40 is bigger than 20, the society wants Sam to break the promise and go for Google. That would happen if X equals 12. If Google offers Sam only 15, If Sam sticked with Tom, Sam can make 20, which is bigger than 15 offered by Google. If the penalty is expectation damage, perfect damage 12, then Sam would give up with reject Google's offer and come back to the original contract. So in the end, the social efficiency would be achieved. So once again, in this lecture 26, okay, sorry mom, sometimes the contract promise should be broken if something very good comes up and then new opportunity gives bigger profit, bigger opportunity, more productivity, the original contract should be broke and the new opportunity should be taken. But how is that possible? We give someone like Sam proper incentive by forcing him to pay X. So here, the government forced the contract not by stupidly, stubbornly argue that Sam, you should never leave the contract, but you should, if you pay the penalty, you can leave. But without paying penalty, you should not. You cannot leave. Something like that. So, if that's the case, if we set the penalty properly, namely perfect expectation damage level, then Sam would break the promise and pay penalty X if it's better for the society, and Sam would not break the promise because the penalty X for him is too much when the society would not want Sam to break the promise and instead keep the original contract. So everything depends on the proper level of punishment. Okay, once again, it's a little bit of thinking, but clearly the basic idea is very simple. This liability, benefit, breaching, performing, all this terminology may confuse you. But if you calm down, think it over, I'm sure that it will be very clear to you pretty soon. Thank you, and see you in the next lecture, lecture 27.